Very good morning to all. So, in this class, let us have a discussion of another important protocols related to electronic mail, that is a email. SMTP protocol, POP protocol, IMAP, and MIME protocol. These are all the things we are going to cover in this presentation. So, straightly we can move on to our topic. So, here from the book, I have taken TCP/IP protocol suite book only. I have taken this diagram. So, in order to give a explanation for that. So this is the actual kind of in the network security we are using the term Alice as a sender and Bob as a receiver. So usually this particular term have appeared in most of the books as well as the other web sources. So better you can understand whenever the term Alice have come, that represents the sender, and the Bob word have come, that is a receiver. So in between the sender and receiver, Alice and Bob only, your data transmission will be happen. And how the data transmission is happen means through the mail server only it is possible. So mail server, all the mail messages will be stored as a rack format, and it will be reached to the receiver. And here the SMTP protocol, it can have the two more subcomponents like user agent as well as mail transfer agent. So through which all the mail communications will be transferred. So as you know that while we are sending some mail informations, which are all the important data we have included, let's say it includes what is the receiver name, and then what is the to address, what is the from address, then what is the actual content, text content we are going to add. So these are all the some kind of preliminary informations we have included while we are sending some email messages. So similar to that, and along with that, the some kind of file message, maybe a text message or video or audio data we have included while we are sending the mail data. So here the SMTP protocol, it will support such a kind of mail informations along with the data, original data. So here you can see that from the user agent to mail server, the actual communications will be there. And after the communication is over, from the mail server only, it will reach to the receiver. So this is the mechanisms we are following. So Alice to mail server, then mail server to Bob. So this is the actual kind of the method we are doing. And here the very important note is when the sender and receiver of an email are on the same mail server, we need only two user agents. Okay. So that is the thing. That is the two user agents. At what situations? That is the scenario one. And the two user agents at what situations we are using. Both the client and server which is available on a single server. Okay. Single mail server. Then the next second scenario is now you can see that instead of using a single mail server, we are using the two mail servers, because the user agent as well as mail transfer agent, as we have discussed earlier, there is a user agent from the client side and the server side also user agent. User agent, what will be there, what is the purpose of this using that user agent? In this user agent, what we are having means it creates an envelope. That's a what is the source address and destination address, what is the from address and to address, that informations will be keep it on the user agent. Then after that only it will create an envelope and include the message into the envelope. Yeah. So here in the mail server we have a MTA client, and we can have a spool. Spool is a storage. For storage purpose we are using the term spool. Okay. So in that spool only all the incoming mail informations will be stored. Then through the internet it will reach to the another receiver. So now you can see that how the packet transmission will be happen, or the mail communication will be happen from user agent to spool. That's the actual first communications was there. Then after that from spool to MTA client, then MTA client to mail server, then mail server MTA server to boxes, individual boxes, because all the mail data will be stored as a rack format. Then after that all the mail informations will be reached to the user agent. So these are all the 5 different kinds of steps have to be followed while we are sending the mail information from sender to receiver. So now you can see that when the sender and receiver of an email are on different mail servers. Okay, so that's the sender and receiver. If it is available on the different mail server, then we have to follow the two user agent and two mail transfer agents. User is sender and receiver both are available on a single mail server, then there is no issue. So it means that within the network, if we have a if we want to transfer some data, means there won't be any kind of issues. That's a, you may have seen that the outlook. So within that organizations or within that network, individual network only, we are involving the mail communications. If it exceeds, if it wants to send the mail communication outside of our internet, then definitely we need a two pair of user agent as well as mail transfer agent. Now you can see that that's another third scenario. So user agent, from user agent to mail transfer agent, first packet transmission, then from MTA client to MTA server, then MTA server to spool, then spool to MTA client, then MTA client to MTA server, then MTA server to boxes, then user agent. So there are 7 steps have been followed. Now you can see that how much level of complexity have been increased while we are using the internet as well as the intranet. Yeah. So your mail communication may be done within the internet, within the intranet, or it may be in the internet. So in such a situation, how many number of mail transfer agent and user agent have been involved in a successful mail communication? So here you can note it down. When the sender is connected to the mail server via the LAN or WAN, we need two user agent or two pairs of MTA. That's a client and server concept. Internet client and server வந்துட்டனாலே இன்டர்நெட்னு சொல்லி அர்த்தம். இன்டர்நெட்னு சொல்லி சொன்னாலே we can have a two different networks. So two different networks we can have. So by using the two different kinds of pair of user agent and mail transfer agent is important. And the fourth scenario is we are using another one more term, that's a MAA, message access agent. So here the flow is UA to MTA client to MTA server, then your mail information will be sent to the spool, then spool to mail MTA client, then it will reach to the mail server, then from the mail server to it will reach to MAA server, message access agent. From the message access agent to message access client, then user agent. So there are some 9 steps have been followed. So here you can differentiate that in each and every scenario there are two different kinds of additional components we are following. So for example, you may think that it may be the 4 different kinds of scenarios that I have explained, and it may be difficult for you to understand at the time of if anybody have asked about in the interview, especially in the interview, if they have asked about what is the use of SMTP protocol, just you can explain that SMTP protocol for mail transfer purpose from one place to from one node to another node. That's all. So mail contains what? Mail consists of the address of both from address to address, and what is the type of file we are sending, and the description about that particular mail information have also included. You can explain. That's all. Then within that SMTP, what will be there? If anybody have asked, just you can explain that it consists of two components, user agent and mail transfer agent. In the user agent, we have included the source address and destination address. Then we are including the message into the envelope. That message will be sent to the mail transfer agent. The mail transfer agent only it involves in a actual packet transmission. So through which the from from client to server the communication will be there. Then the data will be reached to the server, mail transfer server. So that's all. So user agent and mail transfer agent is available at both the sender side as well as the receiver side in the mail communication. That's all. That's enough. There is no need to explain about these are all the different kinds of scenarios in which it will be happen. If anybody have detailed ask about such a kind of questions, you can explain. So that is a point of the detailed explanation of how the SMTP protocol have function. So now you can understand when both the sender and receivers are connected to the mail server, via the LAN or WAN, we need two UA and two pairs of MTA. In addition to that, we can have a MAA. That's a mail message access agent. So usually nowadays the most of the mail transfer process will be considered about these three terms: UA, MTA, and MAA. Okay, so that's very important. Then the next one is a push versus pull. So push means the client will pushes the mail information to the server. Pull means the your client will receive the information from the pull the information from the server. So push means push the request, pull means pull the response. That's all. So that's very important. And the next, the small explanation of user agent. So it's the first component of email systems. It provides a service to the user to make process of sending and receiving the message easier. Yeah. So these are all the different kinds of topics we have covered in this presentation. The service which is provided by the user agent, what is the definition of SMTP protocol, and SMTP protocol the various kind of components and the different kinds of stages we are following, and what is the user agent types, sending mail, receiving mail, addresses, what will be the addresses we are following, mailing agent or group list. So likewise the different kinds of topics we have covered in this presentation. And some of the examples of command driven or user agents are mail, pine, and ELM. Okay, these are the some kind of examples behind that. And then GUI based user agents is also there. Then Edora, Outlook, and Netscape. So we have already discussed that if the mail communication is happen within the intranet, then we can use some kind of tools. So the Outlook is one of the example for that. So Outlook means that within that organization we can use it. Whenever it is connected to the internet, you can send it to the outside world. And format of email is, this is the actual format. So while we are sending the mail information, definitely we can have a from address and to address, and we can have a body field also there, and header field and body field is included. That is a message, actual message is added with your original envelope. So this is the actual the method we are following for sending the mail informations from sender to receiver. Okay, so this is the thing. So normally what we are doing means we can have a sender address and receiver address, then we are writing some contents along with the messages, subjects, and at the last we are typing the name as a authentication for authentication purpose. So similar to that, in the mail what we are doing means mail from receive to, that is a, in order to confirm that this particular person is sending and receiving the mail messages, and then at what time that mail was dispatched, and what is the subject behind that that particular mail, and the content behind that. Okay, so likewise nowadays the people, they are using this digital signature for confirming that the mail messages is transferred from the respective authority. Okay, so this is the actual format of email, and this is the email address, that is a local part, and we can have a domain name also there. It is connected with the ally symbol. So mailbox, address of the recipient, then domain name of the mail server. So that is a, for example, so Sidambaram at gmail.com, it means that the Gmail is a domain name and the Sidambaram is a actual local part name. That's a recipient name. So it may be it may be anything, but the domain name we should not change. Either Gmail or Yahoo or whatever it may be, we can have. Then message transfer agent. So message transfer agent, here what it will do means, so it can done through the message transfer agent. To send the mail, the system must have a client MTA, and receive the mail, it has to follow the server MTA. So both the two things which is followed by the SMTP protocol, and the two pair of MTA we are following for the client server programs. Okay, so this is the actual the concept we are following. So now let us have a discussion of SMTP ranges, how the SMTP have been followed. So SMTP, that is from allies to mail server from the client side. Then your mail information will be sent it through the internet and it will reach the mail server. So from the receiver we are getting the original mail messages. Then the corresponding commands, usually as you know that it will send the commands, the client will send the commands as a request, then from the server it will provide the response to the client. So these are all the various, some of the examples for clients. Hello, mail from, receive to, data, reset, verify. So these are all the some kind of symbolic keywords we are using to denote the different kinds of operations we are performing for mail communications. And the other responses from the server. So that's the various codes we are using, and what will be the positive completion reply, or it may be intermediate reply, negative reply. So whatever the thing is available, it will denoted here. Okay. So based on the user client request, your server may provide a response. Your response may be changes. And connection establishment. And here the MTA server, it will send the 220 service ready request. And after that, the hello message will be shared. Then after that, MTA server will provide the 250 OK message. So likewise, the connection initiated, then the data transmission will be there, and after that the connection termination will be there. And the message transfer process. So message transfer, it follows, these are all the different kinds of step-by-step process. That's the MTA client and the MTA server. And here the mail from whom, that message will be sent it to the initiated to the server. Then after that it will send the OK response. Then receive to whom. So that's a mail from and mail to messages have been shared to the from client to server. Then it will give a corresponding responses. Then after that the header informations have also included, have been sent it to the server. Then at last we can have a blank line in order to separate your header field with the body, then the actual original messages we are sending. Okay. So after all the message transmission is over, it will send the OK messages to the client machine. So likewise, there should be a proper client and server communications will be there in your mail communications. Then the next one is the connection termination. At what time, once the message data transfer is successfully done, then we can terminate that connection. So here the quit message. From the client side, we are sending the quit message and we are getting the response from that. Your connections will become terminated. So other users, they can involve in such a kind of mail communications. Then the next one is a mail access agent. So message access agent, it means you can pull the messages from the server, the direction of a bulk data, or from the server to the client. Okay. In addition to the UA and MTP, we can have this one also. Then the next one is we are going to discuss about POP protocol and IMAP protocol. So as we have discussed, SMTP protocol we are using for transferring the mail information from sender to receiver, and the POP protocol we are using for receiving the mail information from server to client. So that's the main purpose. Either we can use the POP3 protocol or IMAP4 protocol. Okay, this diagram will clearly explain that from the mail server we are pulling the data to that server. So that's a further purpose we are using that POP protocol or IMAP protocol. And the POP protocol detailed the flow is there, and the mail server, from the mail server username will be sent it to the from the client we are sharing the username, and after that the OK message will be responded, and after that password will be shared, then OK will be there. Then after that the list, what are the email numbers it wants to communicate, it will send the list, then email number and the size will be shared. Then after that retrieving and sharing of email messages have been happened. Okay. So here what is the main drawback of this such a kind of FTP or something means, it won't consider about the security factor. The security factors of or the username and password values have been shared as like your ordinary messages. So it is more it is very easy to hack. So the attackers maybe can easily attack such a kind of username and password. They can involve in some kind of activities. So such a things have to be avoided. So that is a the mail server is responsible for providing all those things. Then the next one is a MIME protocol. So MIME protocol, for what purpose we are using is, while we are using the SMTP protocol, all the informations have been shared is in the form of non-ASCII code format. So we have to convert the non-ASCII code into ASCII code format for mail communications. It will be handled by the MIME protocol. Okay. So MIME protocol is mainly used for performing the multi-purpose internet mail extension protocol. Your data have been converted into ASCII code format, though, so the message communications will be done properly. So this is the actual diagrammatic representation for that. So here from the client side, you can see that that's from the user agent, we can have a non-ASCII type of code of messages we can have. So by using the MIME protocol, it should be converted into 7-bit non-ASCII code format. So email system is responsible for converting the non-ASCII to ASCII code format. Okay. So at the receiver side, we are doing that reverse operations. So the MIME header. So what is the purpose of MIME header means that is a MIME version is 1.1. Content type is the type or subtype. What will be the encoding techniques we are using? What is the message ID? Textual explanation. So these are all the different kinds of the parameters we need to be care. That's a MIME header field. And this is the data types and the subtypes of MIMEs. What will be the various kind of types of data? It may be a text data, multi-part data, message, or it may be an image or video or audio data are there. And what is the subtypes of data is also there. That's a it may be in an image, means it may be JPEG format or GIF format. So likewise, what will be the interior subtype of representation of a original data have been denoted here. And then let us have a discussion of the content transfer encoding. என்னென்ன encoding methods வந்து அவைலபிளாக இருக்குது. It may be a 7-bit type, 8-bit type, binary code, base 64 format, quoted printable format. So likewise, the different kinds of the character type of representations we are using in order to denote the content transfer process. Then the next one is a base 64. That's a one type of character transfer format. So here what we are seeing is there will be a non-ASCII code of data, and that particular set of code data have been combined together and splitted. And here we have taken only the 6 bits of data. So we are going to calculate what will be the ASCII value of the data. So by using that, when we are using the base 64 converter, the corresponding binary value have been changed into the corresponding character format. Okay, so 57 means the number value 5. If it is 4 means E, A, B, C, D, the values. Then after that, the numbers have been started. So in the next slide, you can detailedly know about that representations. So the value is 0 means A, then 1 means B, likewise it goes on. And then after completion of Z, then there will be a smaller case of alphabets have been started. Then after at the end, it will start the numbers up to 9, then plus divided by symbols. So likewise, the different kinds of the base 64 means up to 64 number of values have been accepted and the corresponding ASCII values have been denoted. Okay. Then this is the actual quoted printable format. That's a we are going to convert that non-ASCII to ASCII code format, but a single 8-bit representation of non-ASCII code have been changed into the 3 8-bits representations. So that's the thing. And web-based email. So web-based emails means that we need a support of HTTP protocol also. So if we want to transfer only mail information, we need only SMTP protocol. If it wants to transfer the mail informations through the web-based applications, definitely we need help of HTTP protocol. That's a hypertext transfer protocol. So some of the common sites we are using is the Hotmail, Yahoo, or Google, and these are all some kind of additional components we have included. So in addition to that SMTP client and server, we can have one more server, that is a HTTP server. So through which your data transmission will be happen. So this is the actual flow in which your connectivity will be there in order to share the web-based mail transmission. Okay, so hypertext you have already known. Hypertext, what is the meaning of hypertext transfer protocol? Hypertext means it's a combinations of, it may be a text or video, audio, everything will be considered as a hypertext. So through that hypertext request, it will send the request to the server. Then based on the server request, your HTTP server will provide a response. So web-based email server for case 2, that's at both the sender and receiver side we are using. So here you can see that at the sender side we can have a SMTP server, and at the client side we are using the HTTP server. But in the second scenario, you can see that there will be a HTTP server at both sides because it is connected with the internet. Yeah, so HTTP transactions have been there, and after that this is the actual flow in which your transmission have been happened. So in these presentations, we have discussed about what is the use of SMTP protocol and what is meant by POP protocol, and which are all the components of SMTP transactions, user agents like user agents, mail transfer agents, then message access agent. Then we have also covered which are all the different kinds of the protocol which will support the web-based email kind of communications. So in the format of data type of mail informations what we are transferring, what is the use of MIME protocol, how it converts the non-ASCII code into ASCII code format. So these are all the things we have gone through. Okay. So I hope you can clearly understand about SMTP POP protocol as well as MIME protocol. So if you have any kind of doubts, you can ask. And thank you for your listening. Thank you.